Welcome to the Digital How-To series. Today I'm going to explain how easy it is to create a search campaign. There's two different types of Google search campaign, standard and dynamic. I'm going to show you both just now. But firstly, just a reminder what a search campaign is. So in this case, we're using the example of somebody searching for conversion rate optimization. In this case, I've put the query into the Google search engine. You can see here an ad is being served by a brand. You can see the little ad marker there. And then it's saying e-commerce conversion rate analysis and optimization, i.e. the ad text that the advertiser has created. But principally the starting point is this keyword, which is why it's called a keyword search campaign. So in this example, I'm going to assume the algorithm agency is trying to get people who are looking for conversion rate services to visit our website and fill out an inquiry form, which will hopefully turn into business. You'll see here I've got a specific page talking about conversion rate optimization. So let's just start from scratch. So in the Google AdWords platform, you'll notice once you set up that you always see this big blue plus sign, i.e. add a new campaign. So hit a new campaign, and then it's asking you your objective. These are pretty much self-explanatory, but in my case I'm looking for leads, i.e. people coming to the website and filling out a lead inquiry form. And then it's asking for campaign type. In this example we're going for Google search, i.e. keywords. And then it's asking how I want to reach my objective. So I want those people to visit our website to check out our services, hopefully in order to fill out an inquiry. So I'll pop in the URL of the page that I'm wanting to send people to and hit continue. It's now asking for a name. I'm just going to call it Search Network CRO Testing. Obviously you give it a name that makes sense to you. There's a whole bunch of default options here that Google's suggesting you show ads to. I'm going to leave those all as standard for now. You then have the ability to either go after a target country, or you can be more specific and say, I want people in, I don't know, Johannesburg, for example, target, and then you can also exclude target as well. So I could do, I don't know, exclude Pretoria, but you get the idea. Include and exclude until you get the audience that you're after. It's then asking how much you want to spend per day. That's entirely your choice. For the purpose of the demo, I'm just going to put 100 rand. And then it's asking how you want to bid. When you've had a campaign running for a while, it's normally got some conversion data and will default to maximize conversions. In this example, I'm just going to assume you don't. And I'm going to go for clicks. And then it's going to ask me to set a maximum cost per click. So I'm going to set a maximum bid of 30 rand per click. Remember, that's not necessarily what you'll pay, it's just what you're prepared to pay in the auction against your competitors. There's a whole bunch of options here like site link extensions, telephone extensions. I'm not going to go through those for the purpose of these demos, but they're all pretty much self-explanatory. So I'm just going to hit save and continue. Now I'm being asked if I want to create a standard campaign or a dynamic campaign. So let's just start with standard. So we're going to call this Search Network Standard CRO services. You can see it's still got the URL in here that I put in before when I was creating the campaign, and then Google's automatically looking at that page and then suggesting keywords to go after. You'll notice in this list some of them aren't strictly related to what I'm trying to do. So as an example, increase conversions, algorithm agency. So this kind of list that Google spits out is useful to help guide you. But more often than not, it's better to define your own list of what you want to do. In this case, there's 3 keywords I've assumed that I want to go after. And remember, there's different match types. So if there's no symbols to the sides or the end of these keywords, it goes on broad match. However, you also have the ability to put it on phrase match, i.e. by putting it in quotes. Or you have the ability to put something on exact match by putting a square opening and closing bracket either side of that keyword. So in this example now we've got a phrase match keyword, an exact match keyword and a broad match keyword. Just to keep things simple, I'm going to assume for the purpose of this demo that all of them are on broad match. So let me just get rid of those markers either side of the keywords. I can then paste those keywords into that ad group, and then I can hit save and continue. Now it's going to ask me to create an ad that will be shown against those keywords. So firstly, it knows what the destination URL is, and then it's asking me if I want to make the display path more relevant. So I could put in here CRO services as an example, and then you'll see the preview on the right. It then starts to show you, oh, there we go, there's an ad extension, CRO services, but it's always going to land on this final URL. And then Google's doing a pretty good job these days of actually creating its own dynamic headlines. So you effectively get a whole bunch of headlines that are restricted to 30 characters, and then Google rotates them. You'll see here the ads changing on the right hand side, and it will optimize to the best performing combination. So you have the choice, either use their recommendations or you can define your own. In this case, Google's done a reasonable job of doing 3 descriptions and a bunch of headlines. If you want to make them more specific and more unique, then feel free to do so. And then I just hit save and continue. Google's just going to quickly check that everything's okay. And then I'm going to publish the campaign. And then it's going to basically go through an approval process to make sure that there's nothing in the ad copy that is making false claims or it's anti-competitive. So that was an example of creating a standard search campaign. So let's quickly just show you the alternative, which is to create a dynamic one. Let's just find the one that I've just created, so all enabled. Hopefully we'll see my CRO one here. So now I can go into that campaign and create a new ad group. And remember last time it was asking me, do I want standard or dynamic? In this case, let's choose dynamic. So continue, and then we'll just call this dynamic CRO services, whatever name you want to give it. And then it's asking you how you want this dynamic campaign to behave. Normally, it's a case of taking a specific piece of content or a website URL. So in this case, we've got a CRO page. We can then put in an exact URL that we want to go after. So I can put that in here. And then I have to hit add. It then says, okay, well, if the URL equals this, Google's then going to look at the content on this page and dynamically serve ads to people that are looking for services related to the content that's contained in this page. And now I can just hit save and continue, and it's asking me for the domain name, so obviously that's Algorithm Agency. Let's just pop that in there, just update that, and we've got an error. That's because I copied the HTTPS, so let's just update that one. And now let's just go back down and remind ourselves. So you see here it's asking for specific web pages again. Let me just take that specific web page, plonk that in there, add again. There it goes. Save and continue. Next it's going to give you a dynamic ad. So you can see here it's dynamically saying what the URL is because we've already told it what URL it was in the previous step. It's dynamically going to serve a headline or set of headlines to the user based on what they're searching for dynamically, and the same thing for the display URL. So now I have the ability to put in a description. So in this case we might want to put, I don't know, CRO, services and testing. I'm not going to write a proper description, you get the idea. And then maybe put in some of the benefits to the customer, increase your lead conversion rates, whatever makes sense to the service that you're providing. You'll see it populates the ad text here. Once you're happy, you literally just hit done, save and continue. And now you have both a standard campaign, search campaign, with those keywords that we defined, and a dynamic campaign where Google's automatically assigning ads and content to people based on the content of the page that you defined. And that's how easy it is to create a Google search, either standard or display campaign.